Hello everyone, I'm Bruffy1322 and this video is going to show the fastest fully upgraded cars per class in terms of top speed as of the Arena War update, and only including vehicles that can be used in regular races. As always, the position counter is in the top left with the actual top speed the vehicle achieved in the top right, and if you're interested in the performance of all of the vehicles in the game, check the playlist link in the description or the pinned comment alongside the lap time testing series. If you want to know more information about this testing, including the extent to which it's accurate and how useful it is for you personally, have a read of the full description as everything that you need is in there. And for the performance of any future vehicle editions, feel free to subscribe for new testing videos every Thursday, and check out my Patreon or become a YouTube member if you'd like to support me and get testing results early. Now, as I said, this video will only focus on vehicles that can be used in regular races in GTA Online, but if you're interested in all other classes, they are in the playlist. You'll be seeing the quickest car in each class on screen and any possible alternatives to use in the bottom left if other vehicles are close enough to be competitive. If a car isn't shown either on screen or in the bottom left, that means it's generally not quick enough to be viable in a racing situation in most cases against those cars that are shown. The top speeds for any car not seen here again can be found within the playlist videos. So it's been the same story with our first vehicle. Obviously the Sadler is completely dominant in the utility vehicles class because it doesn't really have much, competition. And then the Blister is an interesting one to be the quickest compact in terms of top speed. Then we had the Gang Burrito, which is again pretty dominant in vans, but it's not too far ahead of the Speedo Custom. But then below that, most of the vans are pretty slow in comparison. So those two are definitely the two to look for. And then we've got very, very close vehicles in terms of top speed when it comes to the Coupes class. A lot of vehicles that are pretty close, even though the Windsor and the Windsor Drop are joint first. Really, the Zion isn't far enough behind that it will be dethroned from a racing perspective when it comes to its lap time. So in 6th place, Schafter V12 for the sedans class. Again, the Schafter V12 is technically a sports car, but it can also be used in sedan races. And again, that and its armoured version are completely dominant in terms of top speed and lap time. Now 5th place, top 5, we've got the Muscles class with the Pisswasser Dominator with a top speed of 124.5 miles per hour. There's nothing really else that can touch it. The nearest is 121 miles per hour, so really the Pisswasser Dominator is the number one and the only one you can really consider. And then 4th place, it's kind of the same story with the Z-Type, even though the Viserys was patched and still has a decent top speed of 124.3, it certainly isn't the levels that it used to be when it was first released, and the Z-Type is still the number one vehicle for Sports Classics, at least when you count raceable vehicles. There is a Sports Classic vehicle that's quicker than the Z-Type, but you can't use it in regular races. Now top 3, the Toros does pretty amazingly to get into 3rd place overall for classes, with the number one SUV in the game being completely dominant. You can't really choose anything else in SUV races apart from this. You obviously want to be careful over bumps because it doesn't like them, but 127.5 miles per hour for an SUV is pretty crazy. And then you might be thinking that the next thing we'd see would be a sports car, but no, we've got the Supercars class is in 2nd place overall when it comes to top speed, with the quickest vehicle in the Supercars class that you can use in a regular race being the 811. Like I said, this is only covering vehicles that can be used in regular races, so even though there's other vehicles that can get higher top speeds, you can't use them in regular races. So this is literally that list that is going to be most important for making your decisions about racing. And obviously number 1 is the Pariah. It is the quickest vehicle in the game in terms of top speed, the quickest car in the game in terms of top speed I should say, that doesn't have any kind of boost or nitrous or rocket on the back of it. The Pariah is easily the number 1, almost 4 miles per hour quicker than what we saw from the 811. Just to go back to the supers, obviously you do have the Devestate and the Banshee 900R, which are pretty good in terms of top speed, and that's what allows the Devestate to be relatively competitive in certain situations, as we saw from the lap time testing video. But ultimately in terms of top speed, the Pariah is the quickest car in the game that doesn't have anything else on it that makes it quicker. Just as a natural car, the Pariah is the number 1. Now when it comes to our bonus section, the BF400 is pretty dominant for this one. It is not only the quickest vehicle in the off-roads class that you can race with, it's also the quickest vehicle in the motorcycles class in terms of top speed. You can see the 2nd and 3rd places there in the bottom left of the Bati 801 and the Hakucho, which are relatively close in terms of top speed, but when it comes to top speed, the BF400 is the quickest motorcycle that you can use in a regular racing situation. Obviously there are quicker motorcycles than it, as we've seen from various videos, like I said, they're all in the playlist, but when it comes to actually being able to race with them, in terms of top speed, the BF400 is the number one, and when it comes to the off-road class, which the BF400 isn't in but can be used in their races, it's completely dominant, and you're not really going to find anything else that's anywhere near it. So a bit of a different list this time than what we saw last week with the lap time testing video, but some interesting ones there. And when we take out all these vehicles that have got these little extras like rocket boosts and other nitrous boosts like we've seen with the Arena War vehicles, and take out vehicles that can't be used in races, we do have quite an interesting list of vehicles that, you know, we're not necessarily seeing all that often anymore, because they're not really at the top of their classes, because they've been, you know, usurped by other vehicles that can't be used in races. So I hope this video has been helpful as a kind of cheat sheet for vehicles that you can use for your racing. If you're loading up a race and it's a track that has a lot of top speed sections, then you know straight away which vehicles to use depending on which class that is selected for the race. But that's pretty much it for this one. Remember to read the description for more info, comment with your thoughts, like the video if you enjoyed or found it helpful, subscribe for more, and consider supporting on Patreon or becoming a member on YouTube. Thank you all so much for watching, I really do appreciate it, and I'll see you next time.